Happy Monday, everybody. It is our Monday Live. I'm Jeanette Yee, your perinatal athletic therapist. And today we are talking about cesarean birth recovery, specific to the first 6 weeks. Here's why I want to talk about cesarean recovery starts on day one, because most people don't know that cesarean recovery starts on day one. Most cesarean moms hear their doctor say, hey, take it easy for the first 6 weeks. And then after that, we'll reassess and see what you're going to be able to do. And a lot of people, because they're in pain, and this is a pretty unknown time, right? For a lot of people, this is their first baby. At the very least, they're tasked simultaneously with trying to help themselves and a newborn, that they hear, right, I shouldn't do anything at all for the first 6 weeks. Cool, I'll do nothing, and then this will get better. And what I want to talk about in today's workshop is that is actually untrue. There are just a few things that if you did in those first 6 weeks, oh my gosh, your cesarean recovery would be so much faster, so much better. Prevention of things like chronic pain, chronic weakness. You can help the scar appearance sooner. Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons. So before I get started, I want to say hello to TikTok, to Instagram, and to YouTube, because we got all the platforms going on here. Please take a moment and introduce yourself. I want to know where you are and how many weeks postpartum you are. Okay, this is important for me because as a therapist, I want to make sure that what I'm talking about today is going to be helpful for the people who are here showing up live. You've made an effort to come to help yourself, and I want to make sure that I'm helping you. Okay. Instagram, Sharkaso says, thank you so much for this workshop. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Sharkaso, tell me how many weeks postpartum you are and where you're calling in from. Let me see. TikTok. I'm just going to do a close up. We have questions from Paige in Bristol, UK. I went back to work after 3 weeks, but I still have numbness around my scar. Paige, how many weeks are you currently? Nikki is 6 weeks postpartum. Thankfully, no pain. I want to talk about that. 39 weeks pregnant, have a planned cesarean on September the 1st. Shreya, I hope you're feeling well. Paige is 12 weeks postpartum. Stacy is 5 weeks with back pain. We'll talk about that too. Cesarean 6 weeks with pain in my back. We will definitely talk about that. 3 weeks from Texas with twins. Hello, friends. Hello, everybody. So I want to say, oh my God, from Arizona, pregnant, due very soon. Oh, due next month. I keep thinking it's already September, but it's still August. Sharkiso is being proactive. You are being prepared. This is amazing. So friends, this workshop is for you. There's so many moms here who are, well, maybe not quite a mom just yet because they're going to have their first babies. But if you're pregnant, this is the perfect time to start your recovery. Actually, it is the best time. I just didn't put that in the title, but the best time to start your cesarean recovery is when you're still pregnant. The second best time is day one after surgery. And the third best time is right now. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. My name is Jeanette Yee. I'm a perinatal athletic therapist here in Toronto, Canada. And I am 5 and 8 years postpartum, both vaginal births, no cesareans, but that does not change the fact that I am an ally for all of you here. There is just not enough information out there about cesarean recovery, and this is a major abdominal surgery. You shouldn't feel like you leave that hospital with like your best guess, and that's all you get. That's not cool. In my world, that is not how maternal healthcare should be like. Okay, so I'm here to make it better, and I'm so glad that you are here with me. TikTok, I just want you to know, if you have questions later on, which you will, please follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'm able to really interact in the DMs. I'm active on my Instagram stories, so please follow me there. Okay, also a lot of my free resources are also there. It's on TikTok as well, but they're just easier to find on Instagram. So why are we talking about this topic? Okay, Why are we talking about this topic? Because so many people think it's too late to start the recovery, like or unless they get that sense of like, oh my God, I should have known, I should have done this before. Just give me a bunch of hearts if this is you. It doesn't matter if you're like 2 weeks postpartum or 2 years postpartum. Put a bunch of hearts in the comments or just in general as a response to tell me if you feel like, oh my God, it's too late. I feel like I missed out, or I feel like I'm missing out. Who's feeling that? TikTok, thank you. TikTok's like, yep, a lot of me, a lot of me. Okay. Someone here is 5 months postpartum and need to do pelvic floor exercises. So we're going to talk about how it all starts on day 1, right? We got some moms here on Instagram. So again, I want to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're day 1, year 10. The best time to get started is right now. Okay. It's never too late. It's never too late. Okay. Now, the reason why I really want to inspire those of you who are still pregnant or like completely newly, like a couple of weeks postpartum, is this. You don't want to start later, meaning you don't want to wait until 6 weeks postpartum or wait until your doctor discharges you before you start recovery actions. Okay. And I'm not talking about, I need you to like massage your scar right now. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if you let an injury wait too long, you will suffer unnecessarily, right? How many people here are like, I'm in so much pain. I can't believe I'm in pain. And I'm supposed to just like deal with this, right? Can I get some pain meds? And are pain meds the only thing I can do to help my pain, right? Like how many people feel that? In your heart of hearts, you know that pain meds aren't the only way to get out of pain, right? Like, what else can you do? This is what this workshop is all about, okay? And when I say suffer unnecessarily, I mean this. There are so many of you mentioning, I have lower back pain. Listen, while that is common, that is not normal. That does not have to be your new normal. This does not need to be how you live, okay? So starting your recover early is really going to help prevent lower back pain. What about the appearance of your scar? So a lot of people talk about the C-section shelf. Give me a bunch of hearts if you're concerned about the appearance of your scar. Okay, and the C-section shelf is not a medical term. It's just the term. If you go on Google and you search for it, it really refers to if you had tight scar tissue, it creates a bulge above and below that scar where that incision is, creating a shelf-like appearance. Right? Okay, TikTok's got a bunch of yeses. Instagram's like, yeah, I want to prevent that C-section shelf, or I want to do something actively that improves the appearance of my scar. You can do that. Now, your doctor isn't going to tell you how because that's not their scope of practice. So this workshop is not about hating on doctors, okay? I just want to make that super clear. My zone of genius is therapy. That's not the doctor's zone of genius. But what the doc can tell, and this is what I wish doctors would say, is, hey, you just had major abdominal surgery. I need you to do some rehab. So this is the rehab that I wish people knew. By the way, there's a couple of things I would want to share, but this is going to be high level stuff with regards to recovery. Okay, so lower back pain, C-section shelf, weakness in your abs, these are all things that are highly preventable, or at least you can make a massive change in them. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you, especially if this is your first cesarean, is this, because hindsight is 2020. I know I have a couple of moms here, or a couple of years postpartum, is this. You can't know what it's going to be like, years from now if you don't do X, Y, Z now. But I want to share a couple of stories with you. I just came out of a big conference here in Toronto on the weekend called Can Fit Pro. And I lectured at Can Fit Pro about, it's called C-section, the forgotten sports injury. And in my lecture, there were so many fitness instructors there who really wanted to make a difference with their clients' outcomes in their recoveries. So, and they shared stories. One trainer there was saying, hey, you know what? My mom had a cesarean 30 years ago, and she's still dealing with pain. Yeah. Another trainer was like, I had a cesarean 8 years ago, and I'm just hearing now today that I could do something about it. Why didn't anybody tell me? So she's angry, right? Another trainer is telling me how she has a client that she's been working with for 2 years, like since that client cesarean, and that client still can't touch her own scar. She's afraid. And a trainer's like beside herself. She's like, she can't touch her own body. Like, that can't be okay. That can't be normal. Isn't there something we can do to help? Right? TikTok, what's happening here? TikTok's writing, it's my second cesarean on September 1st with the first cesarean. I had scar endometriosis, right? How can I prevent that this time? So there are, thank you for writing that in, Shreya. So what I wanted to say, so Shreya's talking about, I had something happen the first time around, and that scarring was so thick. I don't want this to happen the second time around. So Shreya, thank you for sharing that. Yes, you can make a difference. I'm not here to say you can prevent everything, because that I can't make promises like that. Okay. But what I can say is that if you just learn a couple of things, you can make a massive, massive, massive change yourself. All right. So here are the facts. Here are the facts. Early rehab means prevention of injury. Early rehab means no chronic pain, means strength. Sharky So says, when I had my first C-section, they advised me to walk to help heal. Great. I did on my second day. Is that a good? Yes, I didn't even finish reading your comment. Sharky So is already touching on some tips. So I'm going to share 3 tips with you. But that wasn't even one of them, because it's obvious, even though it's not. Sharky So on Instagram is saying, I was advised to walk, right? Yes. So this is a bonus tip. This one isn't even a tip I was going to share. Please, if you just had a cesarean and then you don't have it in your brain to move, like to walk, walking is the best postpartum rehabilitation exercise, bar none, right? And for the most part, all of us can walk. Now, walking isn't the same as, oh, hey, I need to just go for a 5K walk. That's not what I'm talking about, right? On day one, hey, for the mamas who've had cesareans, tell us in the comments, for all the other new mamas, what it was like to walk on day one. Okay, please take a moment to write into the comments, because a lot of other moms are reading this and this will help them. But I will describe maybe a general progression. First day, the walking that you're going to do is to get out of your hospital bed and walk to the washroom that's in your room. That counts. And that is going to be scary, and it is going to hurt, and you are going to need physical help with somebody holding you, right? And it is going to help your body heal, as long as it doesn't cause you more pain. Okay, so pain, please caveat, walking is doing whatever I'm suggesting here should not cause more pain. It should decrease. Let me see. I want to see what everybody's writing here. Orna is writing, I walked 12 hours post-op. Nice. Robin saying, I waddled and it was uncomfortable on the first day. Thank you, Robin. Yes, waddling is probably a little more accurate. I did a little bit back and forth in the room and it felt so stiff. Orna saying, I walked hunched over. This was day one, friends. So all the new moms here who are not sure what it's going to look like, this is real talk from people who've gone through it. Okay, and let this real talk not frighten you. Let this just set the expectations that it is going to be tough and you can. Okay, let me read out a couple more things. I need some TikTok answers here. What was it like walking on the first day? T417 say, first day after first cesarean, I was walking in the halls of the hospital. Amazing. Legrand Eloise is saying, it was hard, but it was worth it. Okay, let's do a couple more. No, Amanda's saying, no one warns you about the gas pain. It's the worst. And Amanda, movement helps with that, right? I hope you're still here and you can type in how if movement helps with your gas pain, right? More pain on my second C-section day, more than day one, and it was very sore and slow, okay? Paige is writing a couple of tips. Comfy big pants are a must. New moms, is this helpful? I know there are a couple of pregnant moms here, okay? My belly still look bloated after a year despite exercise. Okay, that's a little different than the first couple of days. So this may not be the workshop that will help with that. Unfortunately, however, this is something that we can totally address. Krista saying the hospital had me get out of bed into a chair after 12 hours. It was very scary. Krista, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it is scary. Sharky says, I needed a little help to get up, but it was rather easy. And I pushed baby in the little bed they provided around the hospital. That's cool. What helped was being reassured I wasn't going to open the scar up. Krista, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. So friends, I mean, one of the biggest tips is just start moving. You got to start moving. So tip 1 is start moving. I wasn't going to say walking, but I mean, this is such an amazing conversation that so many people here are having. If you're just joining us, my name is Jeanette Yee. I'm a perinatal athletic therapist, and today we're talking about the first C-section rehab exercises you can and should do. Do not wait until 6 weeks postpartum until you get your checkup from your doctor. You need to be doing rehab in that time between giving birth and seeing your doctor for that follow-up. So today we're talking about those tips. And TikTok, if you're just joining me, you missed the first half, so which means I need you to follow me on Instagram because this entire workshop is being recorded and is going to be posted in my Instagram. Okay, so my Instagram link is Ask Jeanette. Sorry, my handle. It's the exact same handle as on TikTok. All right, friends, I've given birth 2 weeks now. Someone is saying congratulations. I hope you're feeling well. So movement is tip number 1. We just talked about walking, but I want to add to that movement list. So if you're just a few weeks postpartum, wherever you happen to be, maybe you're sitting and you're watching this, maybe you're lying on your back and you're listening, I want you to slowly raise your arms over your head. Okay. Do this with a relaxed belly and preferably with your back supported. So if you're sitting in a chair, hopefully it's a high back chair and you're just using that back rest. Okay. Have your head rested and supported too. Inhale as you raise your arms and you're breathing, just relaxed breathing. And then when you exhale, just gently let that air out. You're almost letting your arms pump the air out because you're closing down your chest. If this is the first time you're doing this, can you just write into the comments what you're feeling in your abdomen, especially in that scar area? Can you write down in the comments, because this is a live workshop, friends, right? I want everybody to learn from one another. What are you feeling in that front part of your belly as you're moving your arms? So we just talked about walking, which is, I mean, it's a whole body, but that's moving your legs. But we gotta really make a point to move our arms. How did that feel? Oh, there's a lot of Instagram chat here about how to support one another. That's awesome. You keep doing that. But for anybody who just raised their arms for the first time since giving birth, and you might be, a couple of weeks post, how does it feel? So on TikTok, Camzilla Reese, if you're 2 weeks post, if you haven't done your arm raises, I want to know. Okay. Let's see. No one's tried this. Okay, if no one's trying this and no one's giving me feedback, I want to share with you the feedback I often get. If you haven't raised your arms, well, your arms are attached to your chest and your chest is attached to your abs. And when your abs are doubled over because you're in pain like this for weeks and days, when you do this, it often feels like a nice big stretch in the front body. It doesn't hurt, but it stretches. And it's like, why is it stretching? I'm raising my arms. I'm bending backwards. What's going on? The point is this: if you're doubled over in protection, and that's needed because you're in pain, you want to practice opening up again, because in real life, you gotta open up. You're not gonna walk around for the rest of your life like this, right? It's called poor posture. So bonus tip, if you raise your arms up and down in the first day after you give birth and you practice that for the first week or so, you are not going to have any kind of like stuck downedness from the surgery. That's a medical term, by the way, stuck downedness. And that fascial restriction happens because scar tissue is like super glue and it sticks your incisions together. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. But what you don't want your cesarean or C-section incisions to do is like stick to each other and stick to all the other things around, like your muscles, like your intestines, like your ovaries, like your, all the other things that are in the way that should be there and not stuck to. So belly breaths. And for the individual who's saying, hey, my first endometriosis or my first C-section, I had a lot of scarring from the endometriosis. This is going to help you. Okay, big breaths, because you got to open up from day one. Otherwise, that scar tissue is going to stick down to all the growth from the endometriosis if that is not cleaned up during the actual surgery itself. Okay, so can I get a thumbs up? Does that make sense, everybody? Any questions about arm raises and why they're so important? That's going to help with back pain too, friends. Okay, let me just, okay, Shreya's like, thank you for the tip. Yeah, you got it. And to everyone who's like, oh, back pain, this arm movement exercise shockingly helps with back pain. Look, the research is showing back pain is being caused after abdominal surgery because we're doubled over. It's not so much, I mean, yes, it's because this is tight, but more importantly, it's because our posture is like not ideal. So if we're walking around like this, and then we try to stand up, but this is too tight, this is super strained. So you got to open up the front to even allow for better posture, to allow better core strength. Someone's asking about core strength, right? We're like, I've tried so many things for a whole year, but like, what's happening? So back pain, Robin's giving me a thumbs up here. Awesome, right? We got to open up the front body before you can strengthen the front and the back body in proper alignment. That's cool. Any questions? Yes, good. Molly's like, that makes sense. Ash is like, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, let me see. Am I missing it? Yeah. Okay. So these are back pain tips. The arm raises help with back pain tips. It helps with C-section shelf. It helps with scar pain. Helps with breathing. Helps with the next thing I'm about to tell you. Okay. So friends, if you're just joining me, my name is Jeanette Yee, perinatal athletic therapist, and today we're talking about the exercises or the things that you can do day one after C-section that'll make a huge difference in your recovery. This was inspired by so many moms telling me in the past week, they're like, oh, I just waited till 6 weeks postpartum. Or like, do I have to wait 6 weeks until my doctor discharges me to start like scar massage and rehab? And I'm like screaming, no, please don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Okay. So movement is the first thing. We talked about walking. We talked about arm raises. The next thing I really want to talk about is something I've really never ran a workshop about, and that is infection prevention. Infection prevention. So, has anybody had an infection here, right, for their cesareans? Because what happens with an infected cesarean is a lot more scar tissue and like you have to wait longer to actually start rehabbing because you do not want to disturb an infection. You need that to go away and you need that scar to heal closed. Notwithstanding a lot more psychological trauma with infection because it's painful, it's scary. You've got a newborn, there's a lot happening, and that infection could go sideways. Okay. So infection prevention is actually pretty simple, but we don't talk enough about it. So I don't want you to get an infection. Where's my mom at who is pregnant right now, right? This is why it's important. So infection prevention is very simple. It's this. Keep it clean, keep it dry. That's it. Now, is that easy to do? Not all the time. That's a different situation. But how we prevent infection, that is what I mean by it being simple, right? It's a simple principle. You keep your scars clean and dry, and that's it. So why is this so important with actual physical rehabilitation? Obviously, preventing injury or infection. But friends, this has everything to do with scar massage. And this has everything to do with something called sports psychology of healing. And for anybody who's gone through a cesarean and is scared, this is for you. You do not want to go through life not being able to touch a part of your body because it's scared, it's scary, or it's triggering. It brings back, memories of trauma. This is something we really, really want to either identify really early on so we can get help or work through with some simple exercises. And infection prevention requires you to wash your scar, which means to touch. Okay, so is everybody with me so far? Does that make sense? I'm getting a bunch of hearts. Okay, hands up. Who's currently afraid of touching their scar? Or who remembers a long period of time when they were afraid of touching their scar or letting someone else touch their scar? So maybe it's their partner. They're like, you can't touch my scar. You can't look at my scar. I'm uncomfortable with you seeing me, exposed. I don't want you to see it. I don't want you to see me this way. Give me a bunch of hearts if that was you. I can't touch my scar. I can't look at my scar. Oh my goodness. So look at this. TikTok, there's a whole bunch of hands coming up here. A whole bunch. And first I want to acknowledge and say, I see you, and that is totally normal. There is nothing abnormal or wrong about that. The first step to getting through this is acknowledging that this is your current state. Okay, so that is first. That is first. So with C-section rehab, in my programs, my first module isn't about scar massage. It's not about belly breathing. It's not about like all the exercises I talk about here on our live free sessions. It's actually psychology of healing. It's entirely sports psych. It's birth trauma work. It is entirely psychological rehab. It's brain therapy. The muscle that matters the most in rehab from an unexpected trauma like C-section, the most important muscle is the one between your ears, your brain. It's your thoughts. It's your beliefs, because those drive your actions or inaction. Okay. Christina is sharing something on Instagram. On 10 days postpartum, I cried last night when my husband touched my incision and belly. I couldn't believe he wanted to touch that area. Christina, I want you to write this down somewhere, and I want you to celebrate each other. That is so gorgeous and beautiful. Did you, that is so healing just to read. Did anybody just get tingles when they read that? That affirmation that you are still who you are. You are not wrong. You are not broken, right? Like that was so affirming. Tina, thank you so much for sharing that. So what I want to say is this: when we wash our scars, I want you to do it a special way. Now, first of all, if you got steri strips on your scars, you're not supposed to get them wet, really. And if you have a covering, follow your doctor's advice on how to keep things dry and clean. Okay, follow the requirements of the dressing. Stitches usually stay in for a couple of days, weeks. Maybe they're dissolving. Then follow your doctor's requirements on how to keep things, how to wash, because they may say don't wash it in the showers. But if you can, try this very simple thing. So now we went from infection prevention, okay, tip number 2, which is keep things clean and dry. Now we're going into tip number 3, which is, let's talk about the birth trauma. Let's talk about your birth experience, because not all C-sections are traumatic to people, okay? But some are. And that doesn't make you wrong. And we need to freaking have a platform to talk about that. We need to be feeling safe that we can share those emotions, because if you bottle them up, you will not physically heal well. You can't. You can't when you embody anger towards your own self and being shameful of the way you look and feeling not sexy anymore. And that will affect, let's say, your romantic relationships. You cannot embody, you cannot internalize all of that pain. We must let it out. So I invite you all, try this one simple C-section exercise in the showers next. Okay. And this may be something that you've never done before, but what I want you to try is this. So when you are, I'm going to draw a incision on my belly just so you can get a reference point here. When you are washing your belly in the showers, I want you to first look at the scar. So if that means if you can't see your own scar, then when you're just getting undressed before you go into the shower, this is an exercise you do in the mirror. You ready for this? You look at your scar and you say the first word that comes to mind when you see your own scar. You say it out loud. Say it out loud. For everybody who's here, if you wish to share, and I invite you to share because I would love to hear from you, what's the first word that comes to your mind when you see your scar? Please put it in the comments because this will heal you and this will heal others. Please don't be afraid. Put down into the comments, what is the first word that you think of when you see your scar? Thank you, TikTok. Someone wrote there, I look ugly. Thank you for saying that. That's very real, and I bet that wasn't easy to admit. Tight and horrific is another answer. My youth died is another answer. Is everybody feeling the emotion and the weight of this? Pain, it is another answer. When I look at my scar, the first thing I think is, it will get better. Someone else is writing shelf. What's the first word you think of when you see your scar? Write that down. Share it, please. If you're not getting an emotional response from these answers that are being shared, I feel this. I feel all of this, friends. I feel all of this. Will I get my flat tummy back? My beautiful baby. Someone else wrote power. Someone wrote proud about my baby, but it's so ugly. Someone else wrote botched. Friends, think of your word, please. Okay, ready? If you're not crying yet, just wait. Because this is what healing is all about in those first 6 weeks. When we're talking about C-section healing, it is not just physical healing. Here's the next step to that mindset exercise. The first step is, what is the first word that comes to mind when you see your scar? Okay, ready? Here is the next step. What if, so if you had a little boy or a little girl, and I know, and I appreciate some people have had pregnancy losses. So please, I invite you to think of yourself as a little boy or a little girl. If that little boy or little girl said to you, I'm ugly, I look botched, I have a shelf, I have a battle scar. Okay. My youth died. My body looks tight and horrific. What would you say to your young child or yourself as a young child? What would you say to them? What would you say to them? Write in the comments right now, especially those individuals who felt whose words were very angry and fearful and sad. What are you telling that little girl or that little boy? Please put it into the comments, because this is where healing begins. These are the mindset exercises I talk about in the first module of my Cesarean recovery program. It is the first module. It is the most important module. If you are in the right mindset, you will recover very well. If you are not, you cannot have an optimal recovery. You're too scared to touch your own scar. You're too angry. And I want you to not be angry. You are beautiful in your own way. Look at these answers. You are worthy. You are worthy. That scar is proof of how strong and powerful you are. You know what? Every time I run this workshop, I don't not cry. because that is how emotional and powerful our thoughts are, our ability to heal ourselves. Friends, do you see what you are capable of? Do you see your own power? Do you see that where you are right now may not be where you want to be, but seeing that is step one. And that if you are where you want to be, then taking that next step is the scar massage and is the exercise. And that there is no barrier to that, because you can touch yourself and you can look at yourself and talk about it objectively as opposed to subjectively with angry, hateful, ashamed words. Right? Someone else wrote, "You are not your scar. You are beautiful." Like, I'm getting hearts here, and I know some of you don't have the words to describe how much this is affecting you, and invite you to, if you feel like, oh my God, I need to talk to a professional about my mental health, I invite you to do so. Absolutely. No one should do this alone. Okay. That's part one. Part two is this. If you're like, okay, I didn't realize this and I want to do some more, that I invite you to do my cesarean recovery program. Because that first module, like I said, there are a few sports psych exercises just like this. They're emotional, but they need to happen. They need to happen. We must hold space for each other and allow space for that healing to occur. And then module 2, 3, 4, scar massage and exercise. Yeah, back pain. Yeah, posture. Okay, C-section shelf, painful sex. I'm not belittling those situations. I'm just saying that cannot even be addressed if we can't touch and look at our own scars. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, so if you have any questions about the cesarean recovery programs, please, TikTok, you're gonna have to join me on Instagram because I answer all my questions there. As a matter of fact, this entire workshop, if you just missed, is being recorded and posted in Instagram. Okay, so that's part one. You got to follow me there. It's Ask Jeanette. The other part is this: you can sign up for that program right now. If you're pregnant, you sign up for the cesarean recovery program. If you're newly postpartum, you sign up for the cesarean recovery program. If you are years postpartum, you sign up, you do it. You have to start where you are. Erin's like, it's 2 years after C-section. Is that too late? It's not too late, but Erin, please send me a DM on Instagram because I need to know a little bit more specifics about what you're hoping to achieve. Okay, Erin? So send me a DM right now. Send me a DM right now. Okay. What's your Instagram? It's Ask Jeanette. So same handle as my TikTok. All right. Okay. Every birth is unique and beautiful. I'm feeling numb around my scarf since the last time. No, it's not normal, but scar massage can absolutely help with that. So friends, I hope you received some really great information. The top 3 tips again are move, right? With walking and arm movements, are prevent infection, and sports psych. That matters. That matters. So friends, thank you so very much. I run free Instagram and TikTok workshops every Monday. Next Monday, I'm on vacation, so there will be no workshop. And the Monday after that is Labor Day, which means it'll be on the Wednesday of that week. Don't worry, you'll find out on Instagram and TikTok, okay? So thank you so much, friends, and I will talk to you all very soon.